guess I'll start off. I thought the key to the game was that media timeout in the second quarter. I wasn't happy with the pace that we were playing at. I don't know if we were just kind of falling into a rut. But I thought we were playing slow, and I thought Coach Witt did a great job of really controlling the tempo the first 15 minutes. I thought we got a couple good looks early that didn't fall, and maybe we were pressing a little bit after that. And I thought defensively we kind of lost our way a little bit, but we fixed it. And I think that was something we talked about at that media timeout was the pace of the game has to change. Let's not sit here and wait for this to be a close game if it doesn't have to be. Let's make a run, and I think that's something Coach Paulson was always really big on. We got to end the half well, end the first half well, and start the second half well. And I thought that was the big key tonight. Was us doing that. One of those things. I think it was maybe a tie game at that point, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it wasn't. It was
by 3. Okay, she tied it, and then Rach came back with a couple big ones. Yep. Again, I think we talked at that same media timeout was, we had one offensive rebound. That was something we really thought we were going to have that advantage today. They did a nice job, but really it was, there's countless times that we're putting up shots and we have 4 people watching or 4 people running back, and it just wasn't us. I just didn't feel like we were us for the first 15 minutes. We said we had the one offensive rebound in the first 14 minutes of the game, 15 minutes of the game. We had 3-4 on that same possession, and we talked before the game of you get offensive rebounds, you got to go up strong, or you got to find somebody at the arc. And I thought that was a big turning point. And then the other thing that we didn't do well early was get the ball inside of the post, and I thought we did that. And then we expected them to double, and Rach we found Rach, and Rach found the bottom of the net, and that was a huge stretch for us. These two hitting those 3 threes there.
Yeah, well, we had got an offensive rebound right before that, and we kind of let it play out, got into our offense, and after that second offensive rebound, Sinead did a great job of getting it right to where my shooting pocket was, and I knew that I was going up with it, and I was pretty confident that it was going in, and that was great.
And that happens to be one of our spots, and Meg had a great drive baseline and happened to be open. She made a great pass and was able to hit it, so very happy.
Definitely. I think we were struggling to finish in the beginning, but we just realized that we had to be a little more aggressive. We were being kind of timid, especially in the first quarter. But I thought as the game went on, we started finishing more and more as a post unit and as a team in general.
Yeah, I think we talked as a staff. Was all right. Was that us being better than them? Was that us finding our way, or was that just a little bit of run and happened to be at the end of the half? And I think the basketball, we at least talk as a staff a lot that the game is made up of runs, and I thought we made a nice run to start the half. I think right before we went out in the court, we kind of challenged our kids. We found our way. We built that up to 12. Is this a point in the game where it turns into 6? It goes back down to 6, or do we push the thing to 18 and kind of try to end this thing? We made a good run to start the half, but I thought they kind of came back too. I think in the back of my mind was Mount St. Mary's being a really well-coached team and a resilient group that they've had 2 games where they've been double-digit down in the fourth quarter and made a run. I think they closed it to under 20, and but again, I thought we didn't take a timeout at that point, but I felt like they kind of, I don't know what it was, 6-0, 8-0 run maybe at that point. But we corrected ourselves, and I was proud of our group. I think as a coach, sometimes you try to fix everything, and other times you try to let them find their way. I was proud of them for kind of grabbing the reins of the game back at that point. These guys probably don't know, but that's something I chart pretty well, and that's something that the last couple of years, especially last year, I thought we were really good at. I thought they schemed us well. I thought the way that they used their inbound defender. I could tell the first time that we ran our stuff that we were going to have to come back with something different. And I thought, especially in the first half when it's directly underneath the other side's basket, there's only so much help that you can give them as a coach. But I thought Megan did a great job, and Deb's there of finding that opening on the weak side block. They were using that inbound defender to take away the lob, which was good because we've been successful with that too. And then just some misdirection things that I thought as much as we couldn't score in that first half. I almost felt like it was more than 12 points because there was a couple big ones in there that we did score off of blobs. Yeah, we changed our ball screen coverage, and I think that was maybe a part of it. I thought we maybe pressured a little bit too much and maybe got a little bit too antsy guarding the ball. Maybe we peeled that back a little bit and kind of countered with a different ball screen defense. But I think part of it, too, was we just rebounded better. I thought we contained better. And this is a game of kids making shots and not making shots. And, unfortunately for them, they probably had some, I hate to call them easy looks, but they probably missed some shots tonight that they otherwise would have knocked down. And, good things happen when you're in a gym.